Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, Legit Boss, and you are watching Going In Raw. You like that?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson, and available wherever fine podcasts can be found. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, notify bell next to it if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio podcast, hey, leave us a rating, review, or a comment. Really helps boost the exposure of the show. Yeah, man. Anyways, It's Friday. So hopefully you're watching this super early in the morning when it goes live, because you'll have the opportunity, if you didn't know, later on today at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, which I believe is where the people in England live. We are doing a watch party.
Correct.
What pay-per-view are we watching with our friendos today, Larson?
Royal Rumble 92.
And it's available for everybody. It's not, behind a Patreon paywall, nothing like that.
No.
Although if you want to kick into the Patreon, it's a great place to support Going In Raw, patreon.com/Steve Larson. The Royal Rumble 92.
I thought you were going to say what you got for $1. I was ready to do that anyway.
$1.
Continue.
Royal Rumble 92. Given that it's Rumble season, we figured we'd choose kind of the consensus choice on the number one Rumble.
Maybe it's
ever.
In the conversation, yeah.
It's up there. People like it.
It's good. I've seen it before. It's really good.
We're going to watch it, and then we're going to do a Going In Raw view on it, where we discuss it.
Correct.
So that should be a lot of fun. That is taking the place this weekend of Countout. So our monthly Going In Raw view, when that happens, will take place in place of Countout.
Yeah.
And then next week we'll come back with Countouts.
Correct.
That's how it works. How we juggle our schedule here at Going
In
Raw.
Correct.
So we don't go crazy.
Correct.
From burnout.
Yeah.
Anyways, what are we talking about today? We got news today. Right?
News. It's all about what people want to leave WWE. Apparently, there's a mass exodus about to take place once some contracts are up. Woo!
Yeah,
man. You see everybody leaving WWE for greener pastures of All Elite Wrestling.
For a
Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, The Club, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock's staying WWE.
Roman Reigns when he comes back.
They're all going to All Elite Wrestling.
Let's see here. Ronda Rousey. Becky Lynch, Asuka, Charlotte, they're all heading to All Elite.
To All Elite Wrestling.
Do they have enough money over there at All Elite to accommodate all these superstars?
I mean, apparently Tony Khan's kicking in $100 million.
Well, maybe they do then.
Sign a lot of top-notch talent for $100 million.
But then the people at All Elite Wrestling who aren't on TV because of that,
they all go to WWE.
They all go to WWE.
So Cody, WWE.
I am, what, man, honestly, because of what's going on, this is how it starts. And then Lex Luger ends up at the Mall of America wearing a puffy shirt next to a Sbarro's.
You got that right.
And guess who benefits?
The wrestling fan benefits.
Us.
The wrestling fan.
Well, I was thinking about our bottom line.
Yeah, I know, but in a broader sense, when something exciting happens, wrestling fans are excited, and therefore they want to watch wrestling programming, not just what's broadcast via the promotions, but also a couple of clowns like us who talk about wrestling.
Honestly, what you said in the front, that is great, and I love having a good business going and everything. But what you said in the first place is absolutely true. Wrestling fans, because here's the deal: we've seen when WWE has competition, and granted, we don't know what All Elite Wrestling's TV product is going to look like. We don't know if it's going to be crap or great. We don't know what they're. We have a little bit all in. We know that was great, but what is it really going to look like? The fact that All Elite Wrestling is seemingly making Meltzer makes it out to sound. And granted, I know Meltzer's like best friends with All Elite Wrestling, so take it, I guess, with a little bit of a grain of salt. But it makes sense. WWE, I'm not going to say they're panicking, but they have their attention, and I think it'll force them to make their product just better.
They haven't hit the panic button yet. But
if that contract thing is true, then that's kind of panicky.
I was going to say that's close. If they're saying because in the newsletter, Meltzer mentions that if talents come to WWE with a contract in hand on paper for a certain amount, they will beat that deal In some cases, double it so long as talent signs on the spot.
On the spot.
Now, if it comes to a point where enough people see that and say, nah, I'd rather take this other offer, that's when the panic button is really going to be hit. Because that's then they just can't throw money at the problem and expect it to go away. That means there's deeper issues at play than just people not, making enough money.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to go over here, but we'll kick off with probably the biggest news of them all. The Revival, evidently, immediately after their match, their win against Lucha House Party on Monday Night Raw, while still in their ring gear, went backstage and said, "We're out of here."
We say no.
We say no.
So
what do we
the
have?
first word we got about this from Fightful, they reported on the 16th that, quote, several within WWE were fearful that Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder were finishing up with the company. Fightful was told WWE, quote, has reason to be very fearful that the Revival are done or finishing up with the company after a situation unfolded at Monday Night Raw, so WWE Raw. A release is anything but guaranteed, but our sources were quick to point out that everything is handled on a case-by-case basis. Every source that I spoke with within WWE say All Elite Wrestling as a natural landing point for the Revival, which is purely speculation at this point. Yeah, just speculation, but it's well-informed speculation.
In none
Dash
of
Wilder
this,
posted, we're going to wrestle the Young Bucks at some point. He posted that.
So nowhere in here was there any indication as to what the length of their contract is.
No.
The Neville thing, the Pac thing, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He was just sitting at home. Even Meltzer had no idea because whenever people would say, are they going to let him go? Are they going to let him go? And he was like, I don't know when his contract's up. Nobody seemed to know when his contract. And all of a sudden, I think Ryan Satin over at Pro Wrestling, she just had it. Yeah, he said he can start taking dates now.
Yeah.
So
It seems like he just sat out the rest of his contract.
So, I mean, evidently, there is some sort of end date to these. They can't just freeze them because we've heard of these frozen contracts.
Yeah.
They cannot apparently freeze them in perpetuity.
No.
There is an end date. So we know that just judging by the Neville situation. I read one thing on the Twitter today, and it's on the Twitter. So who knows if it's true or not, that there's a possibility that, they had an initial contract for NXT, and then when you get a call up, you're asked to sign an extension.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that, I mean, I guess it's been, how long has it been since they got called
It'll
up?
be 2 years, Raw after Mania this year.
Raw after Mania this year, so in not that long from now, it'll be 2 years. I mean, 3 is sort of the number that I've heard. I don't know about extensions.
Yeah, I don't know about extensions either, but usually 3. Like Nakamura signed a 3-year deal. I believe AJ signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, who knows if it's maybe, I don't know.
I mean, if their contract's coming up in April, 3 more months, roughly. Anyways, Fightful's Sean Ross.
Sorry, not to cut you off. If it's April, that would explain why they have the balls to have in their ring gear, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, who broke the initial story with Fightful, posted an update on Twitter saying, quote, was told yesterday morning Revival quit on the spot, but the terminology was phrased in such a way it could hardly report they'd formally asked for their release. Several wrestlers and employees confirmed that WWE didn't want to release them and hoped to fix things. In this week's newsletter, Meltzer added, quote, the Revival, after the win over Kalisto and Metalik on Raw, while still in the ring gear, asked for their release. As of press time, they haven't been given their release. The word we got is that nobody who asked for their release right now is expected to be given it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
PW Insider also confirmed that the Revival wanted out. Quote, the talk among wrestlers on the Raw side after this week's TV taping was that the Revival had spoken with WWE management about their unhappiness in the company and indeed asked for a release. As of this morning, they were still slated for this weekend's Raw live events.
So we'll see. I mean, this weekend will be pretty.
If they start no-showing events.
Mm-hmm. Look, man, if the WWE, the Revival more than anybody else right now is like the symbol for this entire thing that's happening. They are the perfect personification of the issue at hand. Supreme talent being treated like garbage on the main roster after what we've already. You show us what they can do in NXT.
I know.
And then you bring him to WWE.
And you don't do any of it.
And you don't do any of it.
Except for maybe one match.
Right. So they are in, I'm going to say, a unique position because Everybody, the Young Bucks want to fight them. The Revival want to fight the Young Bucks. They obviously would be like legit main eventers in All Elite Wrestling. When you talk about they might want to go to a bigger platform, for them, that's totally apropos.
Yeah.
So it would behoove the WWE to convince these guys to stay. And the only way they can do that, and I'm not thinking for a second they're going to offer them main event money, but the kind of contract they have in terms of for the Young Bucks, say, hey, look, give us 6 months to turn this around. Because here's the thing. If the Revival only have 3 months left on it, let's just speculate. Let's just say for a second.
So sake of argument.
They have
yeah,
till
April.
Mania.
Yeah.
WWE says, listen, sign a 2-year deal with us and give us 6 months to show you what we can do with you. Is that enough to make them stay?
Here's the thing, though. Say for that 6 months, they treat them like royalty. Put the belts on them. Great creative. And then one day after that 6 months is up, oh, guess what? You're dropping the belts tonight.
Well, that sort of defeats the purpose of the. Here's the thing: WWE needs to make a wholesale change to the way they do things.
I agree,
and that's I think it. And so right now,
but I mean, I guess from my perspective as a talent there, yeah, 6 months is great. But what's going to happen day one after the 6 months? Is this going to continue? Are you going to realize now you have us for another 18 months, so you're not going to concern yourself so much about making sure that we're taking care of our happiness, that we have interesting creative now that you have us locked in?
Mm-hmm. Well, they can't sign them to a deal that says, well, you can just walk whenever you want to walk.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, given how their tenure in WWE has gone thus far, is it going to be a situation where, I mean, for the next 3 months, if they're in contract next 3 months, I mean, Triple H or Mark Carano could go up to him and say, give us these next 3 months to prove that, show to you that we can do things better.
Yeah, that's true.
And then who's to say, again, after those 3 months are up and Revival say they're happy, they're fortunate they've turned around, they sign new deals, and 2 months later they're back in the same spot.
Well, then that brings us to what would it take? I mean, look, it could definitely be, man, the proof is in the pudding. I'm using history as an indication. There's nothing you can say right now because what you're saying is true. They could take it all as lip service, and they'd have every right to do that.
Yep.
But so then the question is, what would it take? What would it take? WWE says,
well,
man,
it depends on the
really
nature of their beef. Is it strictly financial, which I doubt in the Revival's case it is?
Yeah, I doubt that.
Is it creative? Is it the limitations they may be placed upon them to wrestle the kind of matches they want to wrestle on a regular basis on Raw?
Let me ask you something.
Is it a combination thereof, which is the most likely scenario?
If Revival had been called up to SmackDown, which really does treat their tag teams,
pretty well, yeah.
It's a sea changer. It's a completely different thing over there. Would this have been a thing? Because they probably would have been tag champs at some point. They'd be right up there in the mix with the Usos and New Day. Or, I mean, dude, I don't know. Or they could be Sanity.
Yeah, no.
I don't know.
No, the
club.
the SmackDown tag division, right? Well, now it's 3 teams. It's New Day, Usos, T-Bar, and now Miz and Shane are getting catapulted at the top of the front of the line.
That's another team, yeah.
So who knows? It depends. Yeah, it would just depend on when they got put into the top tier, if they got put in top tier tag teams, and if they got a title run and how well it went.
Yeah, but I don't blame them, man. I mean, look, they are hot right now.
Yep.
And it's obvious that they would be treated like kings in All Elite. I don't know if there's anything. Look, I'm just saying, what could the WWE do? If you look at both situations, man, I don't know if there's anything WWE could do.
Yeah, I don't know at this point there's anything they could do
to change their minds.
I know.
And they're a massive, massive company with tons and tons of money and a TV show that's already established and an investor's pitch thing here that we just looked at.
And then, there's several other talents that might be also disgruntled, feeling unappreciated.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to go to a job and you're paid well, but if you're not happy, show up to work every day.
Yeah.
No amount of money thrown at you is going to make you turn that frown upside down.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, possibly.
I don't know.
Money talks off.
Money helps.
Money helps.
You can't buy happiness, though, Steve.
You can though.
Not really.
Pretty much.
Speaking of other people who want to leave WWE, Pro Wrestling Sheet is reporting that Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis have also asked for their release, saying, quote, sources tell us that the Kanellises have been unhappy with the way they've been used. I mean, they haven't even been used in WWE for a while, and finally made the decision a few weeks ago to request their releases. PW Insider adds Quote, we have heard from several sources that Mike Kanellis requested release from WWE, but it was denied 3 weeks ago. The belief among some WWE wrestlers is that Kanellis is hoping to return to Ring of Honor, but as of today, he has not been released from the company. Of course, Mike Kanellis, former leader of the Kingdom, now being led by Matt Taven.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be interesting if he were to be released and go back to Ring of Honor. Obviously, they're looking to bolster their own ranks in the midst of this massive bidding war for anybody who might be entering free agency.
Yeah.
Companies trying to snap up talents to exclusive deals.
This is like it's funny because you look at the roster and surprise, like for as big as the WWE roster is, they surprisingly do fit a lot of those people in places on TV. I mean, they do. So this one is completely unsurprising at all. This is not surprising whatsoever. I think I've said this many times lately. This is a money couple right here. I know, granted, they came into the company and like as soon as they made their debut, which was like they didn't even go through NXT.
It's just kind of surprising.
Kind of surprising, yeah. Although, I mean, I understand Maria had been a fixture in WWE programming for years before.
Yeah. They thought based on her name value that.
And he's a very polished wrestler.
Oh, he is. He's really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
But in terms of building their brand within the WWE universe, it could have benefited them from going to NXT, regardless.
I agree.
Regardless. But what you're saying is pretty soon after they debuted, Bennett went to rehab.
And she got pregnant. So, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, I can sort of see it that they sort of had to start from scratch a little bit. Mm-hmm. But, man, putting that dude on 205 Live.
And then not even utilizing him, really. He's been on the show like 3 times.
Doesn't even look like a cruiserweight.
So in this Pro Wrestling Sheet report, they linked to, or they mentioned that, was it Cage Match? It's a database of matches and who people have had matches against on what shows and stuff. They said Kanellis was on SmackDown 4 times.
Yeah.
And then he's showed up on, 205 Live 3 or 4 times? Mm-hmm. Everything else he's done either been in a main event or live events.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking maybe 10 televised appearances since he signed the contract.
Yeah.
Like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah, well, now there's competition out there. I mean, it is funny. We were talking about this kind of off camera a little bit, just reading the latest newsletter, and you start to understand, you sort of grasp the concept of just how quickly everything has changed. Like, even just last year at Mania, or when we went 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years ago.
We ran the Joey Ryan. He said he had, like 7 matches that weekend?
Yeah, and of course everybody, Ospreay. I think Ospreay had, just this past Mania,
like 9 or something.
He had like 9 scheduled, and that's when he had that awful, his the Skrull Ospreay match. That was that
was after Mania weekend. That was at Sakura Genesis.
Oh, okay. But I thought he had like nagging injuries going into Mania.
Sure he did.
Weekend. Mania week rather, and he had like a ton of matches scheduled. I thought something had happened. In any event, wait, that wasn't at Wrestle Kingdom?
No. Wrestle Kingdom was a 4-way. Yeah, but this is Sakura Genesis, the Spanish Fly spot you're talking about, right?
Okay, yeah.
I thought that was April.
Yeah, look that up really quick because I swear that was like right before Mania, and he went in with like.
No, it was April 1st.
Yeah, April 1st, like literally right before. So it's like, oh man, next week I've got 9 matches lined up.
Eesh.
And that just isn't going to be the case now. That's like the big thing is that like.
So many people are signed to exclusive deals. You can't. He said the exceptions were Pentagon, Phoenix, and LA Park.
Yeah, which is still a weird situation. I can't wrap my head around that one.
Well, he's a legend, Steve.
Yeah. And I just keep on hearing all these, they're building this giant dream match that doesn't happen. And it's like variations on La Parka, LA Park, Rush. I can't wrap my head around it. I got to get more involved in that Mexican scene. It's probably amazing.
Yeah, it probably is amazing.
But yeah, getting back to it, like, it's just the landscape is so much different right now. So yes, obviously people are going to be like, hold on a second. Not only like, they're throwing around this big money. MLW's they're trying to get people exclusive. Mm-hmm. So they've got money to spend. Ring of Honor, Sinclair seems to have woken up and said, hey, we need to sign a bunch of people to this Ring of Honor thing we have so they can compete. Mm-hmm. And so they've got money to throw around. So yes, right now is an amazing time.
Yeah, it is.
To be, a guy who, or an act that has been on WWE TV especially, isn't being used and still has a lot to offer. So, man, you know, when you can have money and actually have exposure, I mean, 'cause a lot of the WWE guys, they get exposure, whether it's what they want, the kind of exposure they want or not. You know, I don't know. That's up to them.
And I'm sure part of it, too, is wanting to wrestle how they want to wrestle. I mean, I'm sure there's some creative fulfillment in going out there and, for in the Revival's case, having matches like they did on a regular basis in NXT. Some match of the year, like genuine match of the year candidates versus what they've done on Main, which they've had one pretty darn good match against Rude and Gable. And everything else has been largely forgettable.
Yeah. And All Elite might be the place that they can do that.
Oh, definitely.
Cody's been talking about that. So, yeah, I mean, it's totally not surprising, especially Marie and Mike Kanellis, or Mike Bennett, Marie Kanellis, whatever. I think they're just a really fantastic act that, like, you know, could use. I'd really love to see them. I know everybody's going to All Elite. I'd love to see them there. I mean, I kind of feel like if you're going back to a place you've been before, that's just sort of treading old ground. But if that's what he wants, and good for him.
Yeah, that's where it would lead him to happiness, then sure. He thinks he can do good work there, then yeah.
Speaking of a person who still thinks he can do good work in WWE, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler.
All right.
Because apparently PW Insider is reporting that Dolph Ziggler's situation with WWE appears to be up in the air as they report, quote, there's been a lot of talk in the last week that Ziggler is done with WWE after turning down an offer to become a producer. They add, he has not been on the road for WWE in recent weeks after the completion of the Holiday House Show tour. Of course, that sort of ended on TV anyways with the cage match against Drew McIntyre. As of today, sources claim he remains under a WWE deal, and some have denied he is exiting at all, but others have been pointing to January 31st as an exit date. So he seems to no longer be the gatekeeper there.
Yeah, he changed his Twitter handle to Nick Nemeth, no longer Dolph Ziggler. I mean, he's still at heel Ziggler, but
okay. Well, the big thing is, does he mention WWE in his bio? Why does his bio start off with a non-capitalized letter?
I don't know.
Stand-up comic. It looks like it's the tail end of a sentence.
Yeah, I know.
I wrestle to pay the bills.
Oh, and former WWE World Heavyweight Champion again.
That looks like it's like from a long time ago. So, yeah, hopefully, man, he's got almost 3 million followers.
Well, yeah.
What does that guy have to say about anything?
I don't know. He showed up on Fox Business or something apparently all the time.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, Dolph. I mean, this one, look, I'm sure Dolph has fans out there. I appreciate his...
I used to be one of them.
I appreciate his work. We both used to be one of them. Some guys, though, when they don't evolve and do different or are given different things to work with, like I feel like he reached his. I feel like he reached the end of the road when he came out with the big bass drum and started yelling, "Look at me!" Like, where do you really go from there?
Down.
Where you are right now, basically. WWE says, "Okay, there's literally nothing else you can do. Be a producer." Stay within the family, be a producer, you'll have longevity.
And I'm sure he thinks, well, I'm not old. I'm healthy. I still feel like I have a lot to give in the ring.
Yeah.
So, no.
So, Dolph to where?
No, he'd go to All Elite.
Why would they want that?
Because he could probably still perform in the ring.
Well, yeah, lots of people can, though.
Yeah.
Is he like, but here's the thing. Let me ask you this.
Is he a needle mover for him? No.
Yeah, but he's going to be a very expensive non-needle mover. That's the problem.
That's what he is in WWE too.
Yeah, but they're saying stick around. They're saying stick around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. For All Elite,
well, here's another
thing. They need to be careful about not looking like a WWE dumping
Yeah, they
ground.
can't be throwing money at people just to get away from WWE. I agree. Here's another thing about the Dolph thing. I don't know how much time he has left on his contract, but we had heard, and granted, unconfirmed, that this was like $1 million deal. They're not going to be paying a producer $1 million to produce matches. So, depending on how much time he has left on his contract, do you think it's a possibility they said, we want you to be a producer, and oh yeah, you get producer money now?
I think it's possible. I mean, I think it's possible. They said, we'd like you to be a transition to a producer. Yeah, I do. We want you to be a producer. It'll give you job security. And we'll still pay you. I mean, I don't know what producers make, but it's Dolph Ziggler. I think that to not be too insulting, he'd have to get $500,000 a year. I would think. I mean, dude, he's been around forever. He knows the deal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I would think. But again,
from his
dude, this is
perspective,
pure
if he's got
speculation.
4 months left on his deal and they say, yeah, we're going to tear that up and pay you producer money to be producer, not what you signed before, like, why would he say yes to that?
Yeah, no,
Taking a massive pay cut,
I
potentially.
agree. But if that right there, if that 131 is the end of his contract,
yeah, then they're
I'll
talking
put it
after
this
that
way.
his contract expires.
I'll put it this way: if WWE says, "Hey, stick around, be a producer, you can make $300,000 a year. You don't have to put your body through this stuff. You get to work less dates.
You get to spend more time being a would-be stand-up comic.
Stand-up comic, exactly. Wow, rude. Would be really?
I haven't seen his act yet.
Oh, okay.
He's trying to be a stand-up comic.
I think he has performed. I think he is a stand-up comic.
Well, I mean, he has performed, yeah.
It's just not. It's just a different era for stand-up comics these days.
True, that's true.
Like, how in tune are you with the stand-up scene?
Not very.
Me neither. I'd consider him a stand-up. Look, his Twitter bio literally starts off with stand-up comic.
But it looks like it's the last part of a sentence.
I want to be a.
Someday I would like to be a, something like that. Yes, entirely possible.
I want people to know me as a.
Yeah.
Okay. If they said here.
Let me ask you this.
Okay, go ahead.
Is CM Punk more of an MMA fighter than Dolph Ziggler is a stand-up comic or vice versa?
Dolph Ziggler's way more a stand-up comic.
Yeah, that's true.
Far more.
Yeah.
And what does Punk's bio say? Probably something snarky, huh?
Oh, it's like UFC fighter or something like that. If he even has a Twitter bio. But he was on that MTV show. He was known as MMA fighter or CM Punk.
Yeah,
not
dude.
Former pro wrestler.
Yeah. Let's see what it says. It says straight edge, sweetheart, no Facebook. He's got less Twitter followers than Dolph Ziggler. How's that possible? People want to know what CM Punk has to say.
Do they?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. When he come back to wrestling, that's what they want to know.
Block. That's what he does.
If they said, "No, man, you can be a producer at the end." Let's say that he's at the end of his deal.
Yeah, entirely possible. Yeah.
We want you to transition to producer, $300,000 a year, and all the benefits there. Producers are probably employees.
Yeah,
maybe. You think
probably.
so?
Yeah, probably.
Right. Benefits, stuff like that.
But I also think producers travel. I don't think they go to all the shows. It's not like they just. Well, it depends. If
it's probably the same number of dates.
Yeah.
But they probably travel on the company's dime.
Maybe.
I don't know, dude. Anyways, or what? Go to All Elite for they can't be giving him $300,000.
They can give him $300,000. They can't give him $1 million.
$300,000 is a lot for a guy who and isn't Dolph just sort of signifying these guys who just been around too long? Like, what are they gonna bring in Jack Swagger too?
Maybe.
Alberto?
No.
I
hope
you
not.
Draw the line at Alberto?
Absolutely.
Oh man.
No, they probably shouldn't sign Dolph unless he's got this other gear that we're not aware of.
Yeah, that's actually
like if there's something else that he's been holding back or hasn't been able to do that is phenomenal, then yeah, I like to see that.
That's just the famouser, dude. That's just the famous.
But his match against
Zigzag famous
his match
super
against
kick.
The Miz at No Mercy when he was here in Sacramento was really good. It was really good.
Yeah.
Granted, it actually had something on the line, not just the Intercontinental title, Dolph's career, so it had that emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
But it just feels like more often than not, like his creative is just so devoid of anything of circumstance.
I mean, is it really going to hurt WWE to release guys like WWE? They should be telling, "Hey, Ty, do you want your release?" Maybe they should just be loading up All Elite just to be a dumping ground for WWE. I don't know, because that's not appealing to me. It's not appealing to me. What is appealing is unlocking what I hadn't seen before. And in that case, maybe Dolph would be cool. I don't know. Be weird not to look at him and think Dolph Ziggler because his name would be Nick Nemeth.
Probably.
It's gonna be that weird WCW thing again, dude. Maybe Adam Mayhem's right. Maybe it's just another WCW.
Well, until they
all
start
gonna fall apart,
signing
man.
a bunch of old part-timers.
Are they gonna sign? What was that dude's name that almost cut that guy's throat live on air? Oh man, what was come on, Tank Abbott.
Oh, Tank Abbott?
Yeah.
No.
You remember that when he almost cut that dude's throat?
Yeah. He pulled out the knife, yeah.
He pulled out a knife on a guy. I don't know what his intentions were. If I pull a knife on a guy, I'm probably looking to cut him though.
Or at least put the thought in his head that he's going to be cut.
Yeah, that might have been it. I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Next, talents are actually going to WWE, probably. One, Kushida.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons maybe why he left New Japan. Apparently, he wanted to be in Bullet Club for life. This is from the newsletter. Quote, one of the things with Kushida which led to his leaving for WWE is that early last year, early 2018.
That's surprising.
He wanted to go heel and join the Bullet Club.
Boy, that'd have been cool.
Yeah. But Gato wanted him to stay in his place. The deal was that New Japan needed a solid junior heavyweight guy with Ospreay and Chaos, Kanemaru, Desperado, and Michinoku Suzuki-gun. Taiji Ishimori in Bullet Club. Early 2018, Ishimori wasn't in Bullet Club yet, was he?
No.
And Bushi and Takahashi and LIJ. The home team side had Taguchi, but he's more comedy now and only turning it on as a serious guy for a few matches a year like Super Juniors. And then he talks about Tiger Mask and Liger as legends, but out of the title picture. He continues, that'll probably isn't the only reason, but it was part of it. He handled it professionally, working until 129, doing clean jobs, and he gets his first match against Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah.
It's the last show. So that's cool.
A true professional.
But that's interesting that he wanted to turn heel. Join Bullet Club.
He's got to be a needle mover for 205 Live, right?
I would like to say yes.
Seems like it would be. People would tune in initially anyways. Who would be a good first? Hey, that'd be kind of that. I would watch that. Hideo Itami picks it up. I mean, I don't know if they have a past. Obviously, Hideo Itami was in Noah for a while. I don't know if there was any cross stuff where they crossed paths, but I could see for a lot of people that could be like some sort of dream matchup right there.
Yeah, it would be. I think it'd be great. But I don't know what percentage of WWE's audience watches New Japan, is aware of Kushida. I just don't know.
All right, I'll go out on a limb. It's probably a very high percentage of people who have subscribed to New Japan World that have the WWE Network.
High?
I would think it's a very high percentage.
You mean percentage? I don't. What's the numbers at New Japan World now?
I think it's under 200,000.
Yeah,
I think it's at that.
And what percentage of those do you think are in the States?
High. 70, 80. Oh, that are in the States?
Yeah. How many subscribers are here from the States?
I think a lot, simply because from what I remember, I remember Meltzer mentioning something about generally in like streaming services don't go over very well in Japan. They primarily consume through the TV. They don't pay extra for streaming stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if, look, dude, I don't know, but I'm just saying they've been making a big expansion in the United States.
Yeah.
They've signed up a lot of subscribers.
Pretty substantial portion of the subscribers. So let's say, let's be generous, 200,000 subscribers, and let's say 60% of those are here in the States. So 120,000. And what is the WWE Network's?
1.6.
So you're talking 120,000 people who are reasonably well aware of what Kishida has done of the WWE universe.
Yeah.
Compared to 1.5 million subscribers in the network. This is not a large ratio.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I would like to hope that people within the WWE universe are aware of what Kushida has done and how good he is. I just don't know. I don't know. And while we'd be excited, I don't know if the crowd would, like, you know, they have a taping of 205 or 205 Live is airing live in 2 weeks after the Rumble, and Hideo Itami wins that title, and out comes Kushida to challenge him or something. Like, what's the response going to be? There's going to be some cheers because some people know who he is, but I don't know if the reaction is going to be in the right proportion to how awesome he is. Like, that place isn't going to erupt.
You're right. I mean, it's gonna. I'll put it this way: I have no idea. It's gonna be a good litmus test. It'll be a good test to see exactly what the reach of New Japan is, to see what the audience for WWE will think of his arrival. You know, honestly, what they should do, what they totally need to do, if they're gonna be spending money, bringing Kushida in, which I think they're probably gonna spend a decent amount of money. Chances are, you know what's interesting. How do you think it's at all likely? Because I think it probably is. For example, in the newsletter, he mentions Andrade Almas, kind of warning
Rush and Dragon Lee not to go to WWE.
On the flip side of that, two guys, it's been more than that, a couple guys who used to be in New Japan or in WWE, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles.
Well, Finn Balor, too.
Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Finn Balor, who was in the same
Junior division. Yeah. But what have, except for AJ, who's kind of a different case, what have pretty much everybody else have in common? They went through NXT. Nakamura went through NXT. Finn went through NXT.
But if you keep it more general than that, right? Kushida's looking to come over to WWE. Hey, Shinsuke, how do you like it over there? It's not perfect, but nothing is.
Mm-hmm.
I like it just fine. They've treated me well. Mm-hmm. AJ might say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finn might say the same thing. Mm-hmm. Now, are they in different positions than Kushida? Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But if he gets a generally positive vibe from those guys who have been treated generally positive, I just find it interesting that if recommendations are really a thing, that like Andrade's like, don't come here. And then these other guys are like, come here.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
You can kind of see
I mean, everybody's experience is different.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But going back to the response Kushida would get, like if he debuted at Full Sail, the roof would blow off the place.
Yeah. It's like,
without a doubt.
It's like 95% of people know who he is. There.
Yeah. And if he had a good run in NXT before going to 205 Live, for example, at least, hopefully a certain portion of people who show up to live events watch NXT would know who he is. The response would probably be greater. But I don't know.
Well, what I was going to say is, honestly, this is the silliest, smallest thing in the world. All I got to do is spend a month of video packages hyping him on their actual TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Hype 205 Live on your TV shows. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
There hasn't been a lot to hype on those shows recently, but Kushida is a big deal. He's a big change.
He is.
And they need to hype that. Say, this is the only place you can see this, legend from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they tried to do that off and on kind of with Hideo Itami.
Yeah.
But, Kushida is just, he's a legend from Japan. Hype him up as such, and let's see what, people will respond maybe. They'll be at least curious,
Yeah.
Make it a big deal. They need to start hyping 205 Live. I don't know what I know you've said put it in a freaking place, but I don't know if they're going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that, but that needs to be done. That's what needs to be done.
And more talent, more people.
Yes.
And film it before SmackDown.
Yeah. If you're not going to give it his own venue, do it before SmackDown. And really do something about the creative on that show because it's basically non-existent at this point. Talk about another wrestler who may be going to All Elite. Wrestling News World reporting that Jungle Boy, Luke Perry's kid, Jack Perry.
Yeah.
I know it's not fair to call him Luke Perry's kid.
It's funny, though, because it's true.
Yeah. Is the latest signee to All Elite, adding they wanted to do a longer deal for him. However, quote, Jack, his father, and his legal team felt it was best for him to not sign a deal over 2 years at this point in his early career. However, the newsletter says, quote, the reports that Jack Perry, who wrestles as Jungle Boy, has signed here to All Elite. That's premature, although he was given an offer by AEW, but at this point hasn't signed, but the signing could take place any day now. What are you watching?
I didn't know that.
What?
Killian Dane and Nikki Cross are now engaged?
Whoa.
Oh, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
I had no idea. What does it say?
Only took us 10.5 years, but when it's right, it's right. I love you, Nikki Cross.
That's amazing.
Oh, man.
Or they get married because he has a ring on too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Look at the little hands right there.
Well, confirmed she's going to SmackDown.
Yeah, man. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
I'm going to retweet this with the comment of a bunch of
heart emojis.
Heart emojis.
Have you seen any of Jungle Boy's work?
No.
I haven't either. He wrestles at APW all the time, though.
According to Meltzer, he's in a program right now with Brian Alvarez. So that's cool. That's good. You know, he used this article to sort of to illustrate, prior to all this All Elite Wrestling stuff, a guy like Jungle Boy, who apparently made a good
impression
good
of PWG or
PWG,
PWG or something like that, yeah.
And he would be a guy who's getting around for a couple of years.
That people would have their eye on, and then when they thought he was seasoned enough and ready to step up, then they would maybe consider signing him, have a tryout or something like that. Yeah.
But no more.
No.
Nowadays is a little hint of talent. You're with us.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Remember what Triple H said to Adam Cole at his first tryout? come back when you look tough enough. No, if Adam Cole had tried out to now, he'd be signed.
Yeah.
He would have been signed.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You're going to end up, well, I mean,
But maybe
I'm not going to say it's going to be a problem. Look at Daniel Bryan. He got signed by the WWE in 2000.
Yeah.
And then they had nothing for him, so they released him. And then he went for 8 years and did really cool stuff in the independent circuit. So that ain't going to change, man. People who aren't...
Well, no, this is how it could change. WB could sign him to an XT developmental deal instead of working exclusively in the Florida house show circuit. Guess what they could go? Evolve.
Yeah.
And get seasoned on the indies that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Ooh, so much weird stuff happening right now.
It really is.
Really weird.
Got some mainstream wrestling news here, Steve.
Awesome. Cool.
Ronda Rousey, she's going to be in a video game.
All Elite video game?
No, the Mortal Kombat video game was revealed during Thursday's Mortal Kombat 11 reveal live stream that Raw Women's Champ Ronda Rousey will be voicing Sonya Blade in the game.
One more thing before we... That's great. That's great. What I was going to mention was... I think it was... So Viper...
Yeah.
Piper Niven. She's coming to WWE. She received an offer from All Elite Wrestling. So WWE had to give her more money than most of the female talents making in UK right now, which is awesome.
Oh, it's great.
It's so great. And I hope that Kaylee Ray and Jazzy Gabert.
Yeah.
Also, apparently they both had interest from All Elite Wrestling. So I hope that means WWE had to give them more money. And that's going to be the cool thing, man, is that these people who are going to be coming in for, some maybe chump change are now going to be getting more money. Exactly. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's good. If this all leads to wrestlers getting paid more, then heck yes.
I bet Ronda Rousey probably got paid a bunch to be in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, she's already making tons, I'm sure, to be in WWE.
Yeah, probably.
So she's going to be voicing Sonya Blade, and apparently some of Sonya Blade's moves are going to be based on Ronda Rousey's moves.
That's cool. I like that thing where she jumps up and...
Knee someone in the face.
Flies in the face. Yeah, that's cool, too.
I wonder if Sonya Blade's going to do an armbar.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
That's her signature maneuver.
One of them, something like that. Finisher,
yeah. So that's cool. Anyways, I got some questions.
Oh,
here.
Swell.
Did some questions.
Some questions. Good.
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 On the YouTube.
That's good. That's real good. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. Hold on.
YouTube, you said. On the community tab?
It's on the community tab.
Oh, I can go there.
I did that. Oh, man, we got a bunch, too. Good. Here we go. From Ultimate. Is it time for AJ to go to Raw after he loses to Bryan at the Royal Rumble? There's nothing more for him to do in the house that AJ Styles built. No, I think that Rollins will always be on Raw and AJ will always be on SmackDown for as long as there is a brand split, because they really align themselves with the brands. And I kind of disagree. I mean, I get the point. There's nothing more for him to do at SmackDown. He's done a lot in the WWE in general. So they just got to find more interesting stuff for him to do. Put him in a tag team.
There you go. When in doubt.
Put him in a tag team.
Miguel Martinez, will Triple H be remembered more as a wrestler or a backstage CEO guy when it's all said and done?
He's going to be known as the personification of professional wrestling.
Pretty much.
That's what he's going to be known for. He's going to be known for both, man. I mean, I'll put it this way, kind of in the reverse that Vince is known for. Because Vince wrestled, although Triple H, I think, has had more of a contribution to wrestling in his CEO role or COO role, whatever it is, than Vince did in his wrestling role. But, no, I don't know. William Lee Pratt. Dadcast with Ricky and Elliot, or idiots watching New Japan Pro Wrestling? More crossovers, please. I've talked to Elliot. They want to come up here.
Yeah.
I said anytime they want to come up.
Yeah.
Timothy Wayne, could I get a happy birthday in the most gravelly Vince voice possible?
Timothy, it's your birthday. It's your birthday. Tell you what, your title shot off the table. Yeah. Also, find $100,000. How's that for happy birthday, Timothy? Timothy Wayne, happy birthday.
Good job.
Let's see here.
You okay? You need some water?
What's that?
Do you need some water? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right. Jordan Apole, how long do you think Kushida will stay in NXT? Power Rank Top Fuse. I don't even know if he's going to NXT.
Who's that?
Kushida.
Oh, the word is he's not going to NXT.
Straight to 205 Live.
Although, where did we get that from?
It was like some South American wrestling news
site. That's right. Hey, who knows? Hopefully he's in NXT, though.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Who should he feud with in NXT? Ricochet, obviously. Johnny Gargano. Come on.
Oh, man. Can you imagine
Tommaso
those
Ciampa.
matches? Just line them up.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine Kushida versus Keith Lee?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. That'd be so much fun.
Spectacular.
Matt Riddle. Chiluminati Bebe. Is there any kind of news about how Roman is doing and a projected time for his return?
Seth will mention him in interviews and said he's doing well, focusing on getting healthy and being with his family.
There was a picture that somebody posted.
Oh, in like a hotel somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. And he looked good. He obviously looks skinnier, but, he's got a full beard and, he looks good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, but no, I think that's the kind of thing where
we're not going to hear anything about him if and when he's returning until he's cleared to return.
I think that takes a while.
Yeah, I think it does too.
That takes a while.
Yeah.
Like Jericho even said he talks to him on a regular basis.
Oh yeah.
And in an interview with Chris Van Vliet, I think that's his name, and he said that he talks to him, but he doesn't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a complicated thing, cancer. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, I like this. I'd be down with this. Faye Bios asks, would you like to see Elias do a song at the end of each segment to move the story of the night?
That'd be funny.
That'd be good. I'd like that. It'd
It
get
would be
old
funny.
really quick.
Oh, it would.
But yeah. Charlie Rios, what is the ceiling for All Elite Wrestling, Larson? 20 years from now, where is it? Hey, why
put
isn't
WWE
Billy
out of business.
Corgan offering huge exclusive contracts? Where's the NWA and all this?
I guess he doesn't have someone bankrolling his company to the same degree as All Elite or even
World
MLW.
is a vampire.
I mean, he's got money. I'm sure he's worth several $1 million.
I'm not opening my bank.
Tens of millions of dollars.
Who, Billy Corgan?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Tens
Easily,
of millions.
yeah.
But he's not signing anybody to big contracts.
No.
He's like, I'll give you $200 per show.
I'm guessing it's a little bit more than that.
Nick Aldis makes $300, but he also gets a hot dog, and he gets an autographed copy of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness.
Wow, everyone. Not Siamese Dream.
No, just Melancholy. Just that one.
Such a long album. It's a double album,
It's a double album. I think it's one of the better selling double albums there in existence.
Probably.
Either that or, I don't know. What's the best? Isn't there like a massively successful, wasn't like a...
Probably.
Well, that guy that you hate, who has the talking guitar. Wasn't,
Frampton Comes Alive.
Wasn't that a double album?
I think so.
I think that might be the...
It's Exile on Main Street, Bruce Springsteen's The River.
Well, that's a reader's poll. Best-selling.
Oh.
Ooh, right there. People ask.
The Who, Quadrophenia, Clash, London Calling, Outcast, Speaker Box, Love Below. Oh, The Wall. That's got to be tops.
Yeah, maybe The Wall.
Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder.
Well, I thought it was Frampton Comes Alive, man.
I thought it was a double album, too.
Double album. Box set, simultaneous release, triple. Oh, wow, the triple album. All Good Things Must Pass is a triple album.
Yeah.
$35 best-selling double albums of all time. Okay,
Let's see what this is.
this might help us.
This is just...
In Rainbows is
wasn't
not a double album.
The special release was, but... All right, this is all bogus.
I don't even know what's going on there. Anyways.
It's kind of a mess.
Game JTV, a year or so ago, if All Elite was a thing, would you say Neville would be a needle mover if he were to jump ship? A year ago. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a year ago he was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, needle mover.
Without
Yes.
a doubt, yes.
For us especially. Let's see here. WrestleBuzz, who would you want to see as an on-screen general manager for All Elite Wrestling if and when they get a TV deal? Cody's got to be the GM of that
Yeah, I
thing,
think
right?
so.
I think he's going to be the GM. He'll be like above belt, away from belt.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got to see. I think they can get a lot out of that. That is not a double album.
No, this is just the top 50 selling albums.
Matchbox.
Guess so.
Really?
Kenny G, Jewel.
People bought a lot of albums in the 90s.
Oh, that was a good album.
Yeah, man. I was not a Def Leppard fan, I'll be honest with you.
I'm just seeing if there's any double albums in here. Anyways, continue asking questions.
Okay. Oh man, Jesse Helsius, he's giving us ultimatum here.
Uh-oh.
Would you rather do a crossover episode with Cultaholic or Funhouse? Ooh.
It's a tough one.
Ooh. What's best for business? I don't even know what'd be best for business.
I don't know either. But we're still, we're friends with people over there at Funhouse. Of course, we know we've met many of the fine gentlemen over there at Cultaholic too.
Yeah, I consider them friends too.
Yeah,
man.
that's tough.
I would. I don't know, man. If they called and said, "Hey, we only have, travel's not a deal. Whatever." Cultaholic's visiting L.A.
Yeah.
We only have a 3-hour window to produce content on a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
The same day. Both groups said the same thing. Who would we go to?
I'll say Funhouse. You say Cultaholic.
Sounds good. All right.
That's what we'd have to do. We'd have to split.
Sounds good.
So according to this, Beatles' White Album has sold 19 million units.
Okay.
That's a double album.
Yeah. Just see if there's any more.
There's Garth Brooks' Double Live 2 CD set.
That's a double album right there.
21 million.
21 million. Oh,
Pink
The Wall.
Floyd's The Wall,
Okay, 23 million. Well, there you have it. The answer is, of course, Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah.
Is the Eagles' Greatest Hits a double album?
No. 36 million albums sold. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
People love the Eagles.
Not Lebowski.
Nope. Not a fan.
Hate the Eagles, man. I'm not a huge fan. I seen them live.
Oh, yeah?
We were at Golden One. We were like way back
Oh,
there. Wait, was
okay.
it Golden One or Arco then?
I don't know.
I don't know what it was. We saw them live. They're one of those bands. I'm not huge on admitting that they're slick. Their songs are catchy. Hotel California may be one of the best songs of all time.
One of These Nights is a great song.
Yeah, it is. A lot of great songs with them. But they're so like baby boomer rock, man.
Oh, yeah, they are. Absolutely.
Just not into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Give me the guess who. Let's see here. Name 10. Lamar Lawrence evidently thinks he's a what culture card, a trivia card. Name 10 wrestlers to hold the U.S. Championship and IC Championship.
Name 10 wrestlers
He's giving us
who
trivia.
should hold.
No, who do? Who have?
Who have?
Who've held both.
All right. Oh, who have held both?
Who've held both. Bobby Lashley. Wasn't he a U.S. champion?
Yeah, well, anybody who's a Grand Slam winner, pretty much. So Dean, Roman, Seth, Lashley. That's 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dolph's had both of them. He's a Grand Slam champ.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Grand Slam champ.
Zack Ryder.
Yes.
He's held both.
Yes. That's 7. Big Show, probably. He's a Grand Slam champ, I believe.
Big Show win IC title?
He beat Cody Rhodes for it at WrestleMania.
Oh.
I'm guessing he had the U.S. title. I could be
Okay.
wrong about that.
Yeah. What about Booker T? Benoit. He was probably U.S.
Probably,
champion
yeah, I think
in
he was.
WCW.
Yeah.
Probably. What are we at? Are we at
9, sorry.
We're at 9.
Assuming Big Show counts.
Eddie Guerrero.
I know he's Intercontinental champion.
Did he ever win U.S. title?
Maybe.
What about JBL?
He was U.S. champion. I don't know if he ever won
I don't
Intercontinental
know if he
champion.
ever won Intercontinental.
Orton.
Orton
has.
He had to have, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Grand Slam champ. He just won the U.S. title. Not that
Oh,
long ago
that's
to
right.
complete
Yeah.
the Grand
Oh,
Slam
that's
for
right. That was a
himself.
big story there.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right on.
All right, we did it.
We did it.
And then some.
We passed the test. Good job, us. Anyways, that's it for the show. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Let's get some music going for you guys. There you go. There's some music. Oh, wait, hold on.
Confirmed. Big Show.
Awesome.
U.S. champ and Intercontinental.
Awesome. We're just the best. We're the cream of the crop. That's it for the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Till next time. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.